Well, it's been a while since I made a video like this. Hail Hydra.
If they cut off one head, two more shall take its place. Hail Hydra.
Welcome, this is Agent of Hydra, and well, I never expected I would do something like this. It's been such a long time with the video, but hey you guys, good to see you all again. I'm going to do a movie review, yes, a movie review. And it's going to be actually on one of my current, well, quickly rising favorite movies, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Now I will of course say, at first glance this, I won't be giving spoilers, but I would suggest that you first watch the movie before you watch this review. So please go watch the movie and really enjoy it, and then come back here. But if you don't mind that, then by all means. Welcome to this review. I'm not going to be giving out any spoilers, so let's go with it. So this movie, well, in the beginning people didn't know what to expect from it. It was apparently meant to fail, but surprisingly it surprised a lot of people, and definitely also surprised me. While I didn't think this movie was going to fail under any form of circumstances, because I like to give every movie a chance before I see it, there was no denying that when you compare it to a classic as Jumanji itself, with of course the great Robin Williams, may he rest in peace, yeah, then you're going to have a lot of competition, but this movie surprisingly pulled it out of stops and was as enjoyable as it could have been. It definitely was. So let's start. What's so great about the movie? Well, one thing that is really great about the movie is of course the characters. It really shows you that a plot doesn't make a good story. The characters drive the plot that make it a good story. And with Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, that's definitely the case. The characters, both in the real world and of course in the Jumanji world themselves, really feel like they naturally progress throughout the stories, and their characters become better through the actions that they take and the quest they need to fulfill, so to say. So of course we'll go with Jack Black as Bethany, which of course is just, you feel like he's just channeling an inner teenage girl inside, an inner shallow teenage girl inside. It's absolutely amazing, absolutely. He had the most great comedy in the movie. And of course Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who plays a nerd who's now this big, bulky, brave man. It's an absolute great with his smoldering intensity. It's just amazing. Kevin Hart also amazing. Karen Gillan being a badass like usual. I feel like the characters that really make up the story naturally progress throughout the story to become better versions of themselves in the end. And that's really what I absolutely love. It feels like, it doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel like these characters become, it doesn't feel like the characters just become stereotypes, which is that's what really the thing with this movie that got me. I didn't really focus as much on the antagonists, which is what I usually do. I mostly focus on the villains because in my eyes they are far more interesting characters. But I focused really most on the main characters here, on the protagonists, because I felt like I enjoyed seeing them grow. I enjoyed seeing them become stronger and better characters, and learn throughout it, through this journey that I had to go through. And I actually really love that. It just shows that, yeah, plot is important, but it doesn't drive the stories. The characters drive the story forward. So yeah, one aspect about this movie that's absolutely done well is just natural character progression. At least, personally, that's how it felt for me. Next part, of course, the story itself. Well, yeah, the story wasn't anything like too mind-boggling or mind-twisty stuff, Inception style and such. But I feel like it worked with what they were going for. They took Jumanji, the original, and just turned it into its natural habitat, basically. Great big wildlife, their own world. Nothing too spectacular or fantasy-like, but something that worked with the story. The quest was very easy to understand, the plot was very simple and moving forward. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But really, it's the characters that make the plot go forward and that make the plot interesting. The plot in itself is actually very simplistic in its design. So, honestly, I can't be too harsh on them for that. The plot was just very simple, but it was the characters that made it awesome. I decided to give myself a cup of coffee. Just felt like it. I have to of course go back to the characters once again because the characters were just okay. But when you have such a diverse and talented cast with the likes of Dwayne Johnson and Karen Gillan, of course you're going to get something wonderful out of it, and it definitely did. I already told about how I felt like the characters naturally progressed throughout this movie, but I also really like the idea of just everything just being completely opposite. I mean, Spencer is this neurotic nerd, a video game nerd who is literally allergic to everything, and suddenly he's this big, bulky, brave guy. Marva is as shy and introvert as it gets, and suddenly she's this badass that can dance and fight all the time. Bethany, of course, shallow teenage girl, becomes overweight middle-aged man, and yeah, Fridge doesn't have the top 2 feet of his body. But that's also one thing that really went well. The comedy that is in this movie, it never felt out of place. Like, example, of course, Transformers: The Last Night. I know a lot of people hate that movie. I actually really liked the movie, but I felt the comedy there was really out of place most of the times. Jumanji doesn't suffer from that. The comedy feels really rightly placed. It does never feel out of place. I feel like when Bethany, Jack Black, does something funny, you laugh because it is funny, or you see a situation that's happened, it never feels out of place. Because the comedy never feels out of place. That's really the point that we kind of tried to get to. That it doesn't feel like they're forcing it in. It feels like it's just like the character's progression. It's very natural, and that's really lovely. I mean, the movie made me chuckle so many times. I've just seen it for the second time just tonight, and I can't just after the day I had a pretty bad day, and the movie cheered me up. Now, one more thing I want to get into, because that's one of the most important aspects to me about the film, the villain. Russell Van Pelt. Honestly, I didn't think he was a bad villain, but he wasn't really much of an interesting one. No, nothing to Bobby Cannavale and his amazing performance. He played the part well. I feel like he played the part well for the story that he was given. He was just a generic video game bad guy. He was fine with the story he was given. There's not it. But yeah, he just had a single-minded objective, and he focused on that, and there was not really any diversity or anything. He was just a bad guy. So I did think it was a bad villain. I really liked the look and his abilities, but yeah, it wasn't really that interesting. And this is actually one of the first movies, like I said, that I focused more and felt more in tune with the protagonist than the antagonist itself. Because I feel like antagonists are most of the time just interesting characters. All in all, what would I give Jumanji overall in a rating? I would definitely give it an 8 out of 10. It's just that fun. I walked into this movie having had a very bad day, and I walked out of the theater very happy, very entertained once again. And this was the second time I saw this movie. The first time I was really in awe of how great it was. I know a lot of people were in the beginning were like, this is destined to fail. I didn't listen to those people because I like to give every movie a chance, and I'm glad I did this movie test because it's quickly becoming one of my favorite movies. It is so entertaining, so much fun. I love seeing the characters progress throughout the story. It really feels like it's just natural progression, and it's very beautiful. And the movie ends on a very beautiful and heartfelt, with a beautiful and heartfelt message. And you can definitely see these characters grew closer together and have become better people because of it. And I think that's really a beautiful message. Absolutely beautiful message. So yeah, I would say definitely check out Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle if you haven't yet. And if you had, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought about it. I would really love to know. I'm really looking for, and honestly, I think I'm going to be seeing it again this week. So that's just saying of how much the movie really impressed me. Thank you all for watching, you guys. This is Agent of Hydra. And if you want this to be a regular thing, like me reviewing certain movies that I've watched and that I love, let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. Hail Hydra. Ik kan enjoy my coffee now.